Summary of "'Tis Pity She's a Whore" by John Ford. At the beginning of the play, in Parma, Giovanni and the friar are having a serious conversation about Giovanni's feelings for his sister Annabella. Giovanni says that the rule that says a brother and sister can't love each other is just an old tradition. He tells him to pray on his knees for 3 days straight, saying sorry and crying, to get rid of his love. Giovanni is going to try. A servant named Vasquez dares a Roman soldier named Grimaldi to a fight in front of Giovanni and Annabella's house. Florio, Giovanni and Annabella's father, comes out of the house with his friend Donato and Soranzo just as they start to fight. He asks what's going on. From the porch of the house, Annabella and her helper Puttana watch without being seen. Soranzo says that he and Grimaldi are rivals for Annabella's love and that Grimaldi has been spreading lies about Soranzo, which is why Soranzo sent his helper Vasquez to challenge Grimaldi. Florio breaks up the fight and says that Annabella should not be hurt. Puttana asks Annabella if she is excited about the guys fighting over her, but Annabella doesn't seem to care. She tells Soranzo that she likes him better because he is rich, good-looking, and noble. Brigetto, another man interested in Annabella, and his helper Poggio come in from the basement. They talk silly things about Brigetto's plans to win Annabella over, and Annabella makes it clear to Puttana that she thinks he is stupid. Annabella comments on how sad and beautiful Giovanni looks when she sees him but doesn't know who he is. The man looks like her brother, so she goes down to meet him. Giovanni tells Annabella that he loves her, and even though she is shy at first about the idea of a relationship, she also says that she loves him. They decide that they will either love each other or kill each other, and then they go to the bedchamber to make love. Florio says no, but Donato tells him that his nephew Brigetto can keep trying to win Annabella's love. Florio tells Annabella that he doesn't have to marry her against her will because he is rich enough to pay for it himself. He will let her make her own decision. This makes Donato think that he should write a letter to Annabella on Brigetto's behalf since he and Poggio seem more interested in ponies and puppet shows than in love. When Annabella and Giovanni come back from the bedroom, she says she won't marry anyone else. When Giovanni leaves, Puttana tells him she supports the relationship, even though they are related. Annabella has been sick, so Florio calls a doctor to check her out. He presents Annabella to the doctor. This doctor is really Ricciardetto, who is dressed as someone else and is with his niece Philotis. Hippolyta, a past lover, walks in on Soranzo as he is deep in thought about how much he loves Annabella. She is angry because she and Soranzo had an affair while her husband was still alive, and Soranzo said he would marry her if her husband died. Then, she told her husband to go on a dangerous trip to find his niece. He died on the trip, just as she had hoped. Soranzo, on the other hand, broke his promise to her, so Hippolyta hurt him. She makes Soranzo angry, and as he leaves, he makes fun of her. Hippolyta should try to talk to Soranzo at a different time and with less anger, Vasquez tells her. Hippolyta tries to romance Vasquez into helping her get back at Soranzo. He says that he agrees, but he also says that his real goal is to stay loyal to his boss. Ricciardetto tells them that he is Hippolyta's husband, who they thought was dead. Because Soranzo and Hippolyta were having an affair in front of him, he starts to plan how to get even with them. When Grimaldi comes in, he wants a love potion to make Annabella fall in love with him. But Ricciardetto has a different idea. He gets Grimaldi to kill Soranzo and gives him a poisoned dagger. When Giovanni goes to see the friar, he tells him what happened between him and Annabella. The friar tells him to marry her, but Giovanni says that would make her look bad. Donato writes a message to Annabella on Brigetto's behalf at the same time, but Brigetto and Poggio still seem more interested in puppet shows than getting married. Annabella is polite when Donato gives her the letter, but she says she can't love Brigetto. When Brigetto walks in, he tells Philotis that he loves her. He tells Poggio that he plans to marry her behind her back because his uncle doesn't like the idea. Soranzo then tries to get Annabella to like him, but she doesn't care, even though he begs her. She tells him that she has no plans to get married, but she promises that if she does, she will choose to marry him. He is briefly calmed down. Annabella gets sick all of a sudden, and Puttana tells Giovanni that Annabella is pregnant with his child. When Ricciardetto sees Annabella, he tells Florio that she has the maid's sickness, a type of anemia that many teenage girls got. Florio decides that she should marry Soranzo right away, and the friar tries to tell Annabella that this is the best way for her to make up for her mistakes. That same night, Grimaldi hides with the poisoned sword that Ricciardetto gave him while he waits for Soranzo to come see Annabella. When Brigetto and Philotas pass, Grimaldi thinks Brigetto is Soranzo because they are on their way to the friar's cell to get married. And then he stabs Brigetto and kills him. Donato, Florio, Ricciardetto, and a few other cops go to find the person who killed Brigetto, but the cardinal guards Grimaldi, so Brigetto doesn't get justice. 2 days later, Hippolyta stops the party at Soranzo and Annabella's wedding feast. She says she wants to let go of her anger towards Soranzo, but Vasquez gives her the poisoned wine she had meant for Soranzo when she raises a glass to the couple. She makes Soranzo and Annabella suffer before she dies. Ricciardetto tells Philotas she should give up men and sex and become a nun instead. She says yes, and then she goes to become a nun. After some days, Soranzo learned that Annabella had sex with someone else before they got married and is now pregnant. With a sword, he pulls her across the room and tells her to tell him who the father is. Vasquez tells Soranzo to be nicer to Annabella because she won't say the name of her lover. At the same time, he finds out from Puttana that it was Giovanni. He then has the banditti, a group of thieves, blindfold and gag Puttana for her part in the affair. At Soranzo's birthday party, Vasquez and Soranzo plan to get back at Giovanni. The friar gives Annabella's letter to Giovanni, in which she tells him what happened and how she wants to turn away from her mistakes. Giovanni knows that Soranzo knows she is pregnant, and he tells her that he will get back at him at his birthday party. Before going to the feast, he goes to see his sister in her bedroom and stabs her to death so that she won't get a bad image. He hopes to see her again in heaven. There are 8 people at the feast: the Cardinal, Florio, Donato, Soranzo, Ricciardetto, and Vasquez. Giovanni suddenly walks in with Annabella's heart on his sword. Giovanni tells Florio that he is having an affair with her, and Florio dies of grief. After that, Giovanni stabs Soranzo. Vasquez jumps in and stabs Giovanni. He then yells vengeance, which is the banditti's code word and where they have been hidden. The banditti strike Giovanni and hurt him badly. Soranzo is happy that he was able to kill Giovanni and get back at him. Giovanni is also glad that he got even with Soranzo, and he dies soon after. Vasquez is happy that he has done what a worker should do for Soranzo. The cardinal wants to know if anyone else knew that the brothers were cousins. Vasquez tells him about Puttana, who is now blind. The cardinal forces Vasquez to burn Puttana alive outside of the city. Vasquez will just be sent away for his crimes. Ricciardetto finally comes out, happy that he was able to see Soranzo killed and get revenge for him. The cardinal looks at the bodies and closes the strange story by saying that it is a pity that Annabella was a whore.
About the author. Ford was born John Martin Feeney in Cape Elizabeth, Maine, in 1586. He attended Exeter College from 1601 until 1602. At the age of 16, he left to attend the Middle Temple, a prominent legal school where he also penned poetry. By 1606, he was unable to pay his tuition and had been dismissed from school, so he turned to literature to support himself. By 1608, he had enough money to return to school, but he chose to continue writing. Before beginning his career as a dramatist, he continued to create extended poetry and essays that were published as pamphlets. After 1620, he began writing plays, first in conjunction with Thomas Dekker, John Webster, and William Rowley. In the late 1620s, he began writing alone, and it is for these solo compositions that he is most known. Little is known about his personal life, and there is no trace of him beyond 1639, leading many to think he died soon after The Lady's Trial was published. "'Tis Pity She's a Whore" is his best-known work.
Hope we summarized it fully and you liked it. Please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so that we are motivated to create more videos.